my beautiful people? I hope you all are doing well and enjoying the summer as best as you can, of course. I haven't talked about this on my YouTube channel in a really long time because mainly I was just anxious about sharing my story and being vulnerable on the internet because, I don't know, I'm scared of what people will say, but I figured that sharing my story today will help a lot of you guys who are experiencing the same thing. And I wanted to put it out there before I say anything. If these types of topics trigger you, if you feel that talking about this will make anything worse for you, please click out of this video. I don't want to make anything worse for anyone. These are 10 tips that I would tell my younger self with depression. Basically, depression can be triggered from so many different things. It really depends on the person and everyone's depression experience is different. This is something that I would need back when I was 16, 17. But before we get into the tips, I want to say a few quick words about this video's sponsor, Audible. I've made it a priority lately to focus more on my mental health as much as my physical health, especially during this pandemic. So meditating is one of the things that I do to realign my energy, ground myself, and drift off to sleep easier. I've always been an Audible fan, but I got even more excited when I learned about Audible Sleep. It's a new program co-created with Thrive Global that provides free meditations and calming audio experiences. You don't even have to be an Audible member to listen, but they're only available for a limited time, so make sure you go check it out at audible.com/sleep. The best part is they're actually donating to Newark Working Kitchens to provide meals to frontline healthcare workers and also people who don't have the means to buy their own groceries. Another great initiative that Audible created in response to the pandemic is they actually are now giving Audible members access to the entire Audible Originals library and not only just 2 a month. And since we're always staring at screens, or at least I am, it's nice to kind of give your eyes a little break and use your ears and listen instead. I've already read this book probably twice, but I wanted to try listening to it this time. It's called You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero, and it was so much more empowering listening to it because Jen is actually the narrator of the audiobook. She's talking to you. I feel like it makes you more accountable and gives you more motivation to take the reins of your own life and make it how you want. If you have not checked out Jen Sincero's audiobooks, you need to. They're all about self-improvement and growth and stuff, and I'm all about that. Signing up is super easy and you don't have to commit to anything at first. You can actually get a free 30-day trial with my offer. All you have to do is go to audible.com/Kira or text Kira to 500-500. That's audiblecom/KEARA, or you can text KEARA to 500-500. The Audible app is free, so just download it and start listening. Even if you cancel, you can actually keep all of the titles you downloaded in your library for life. Audible is offering free titles to youth while they're out of school. So if you know any young ones or have any siblings, please look into this. It's free, no strings attached, you don't need a membership, you don't even have to log in. The stories are also available in 6 different languages, so if you want to check out stories.audible.com, make sure you go to stories.audible.com. It's a completely different website than the normal audible.com. Thank you again, Audible, for the partnership, and let's just jump back into the video. So like I said before, everyone's experience with depression is very different and mine doesn't necessarily have to reflect yours. So I had depression for 2 years in high school. Prior to that, I had experienced a lot of different mental health issues such as OCD and generalized anxiety disorder, but it kind of was on and off. Like it just depended on what I was experiencing in my life at the moment and if anything had triggered it. But these 2 years were specifically hard for me, especially because I was experiencing OCD, GAD, and depression at the same time. I did end up going to therapy and it helped a lot and I made a lot of changes in my life and I did get over it and I haven't experienced depression since. Knock on wood. I can't really pinpoint what necessarily got me out of it. Like I said before, me making a lot of changes in my life, positive changes, those were definitely factors, and also me going to therapy was definitely a factor. The first thing I would tell my younger self with depression is it will pass. Sometimes when you're in the midst of depression, it can feel like it's gonna just be like this forever and it's never gonna get better, and that's what kind of just made me sink into a hole and just make everything way worse for myself. But I'm telling you right now, if you make a commitment to your mental health, it will pass, it will get better. This is not going to be forever. I don't know how many more times I need to say it. I really needed to know this when I was going through it. Not fun, not fun. The second thing I would tell young Kiera with depression is there's nothing wrong with you. You are not a flawed human being. Depression does not define you. You are not depression. Depression is just something that you are experiencing. It's not a personality trait of your higher self. It's not your true self. So many other people in this world right now are going through the exact same thing as you. Even if people in your immediate circle aren't experiencing it, I promise you, there are so many people out there who are. So it's not just you. You're just experiencing something that's really shitty. And don't let other people make you feel bad that you're experiencing it. It's completely valid. You don't have to explain yourself to anyone. The third thing that I would tell young Kiera with depression is don't keep it all inside. Speaking from experience, it can get super isolating and scary when no one else knows what's happening with you and you don't even know what's happening with you. At a point in my life, I didn't want to tell anyone because then it would be proof that it's actually happening. I kind of just hoped that it would disappear on its own and I wouldn't have to actually acknowledge it, but I found that once I did acknowledge it, it was the next step into healing. I also thought that if I told people, my friends would think I was sad, boring, negative, not fun to be around, you name it. I thought of everything. But remember this, if someone truly cares about you, they're not going to think that. They're gonna see through that. They're gonna see that you're struggling with something and they're going to try and help you if they're a good friend. The fourth thing I would tell young Kiera with depression is find a healthy outlet for your pain. I thought that drinking alcohol more often would make me happier, but that wasn't the case. Sometimes you have to experience things to realize that they're not good for you. Alcohol is a depressant after all, that's what it's called. Find things that truly bring you joy. And for me, that was doing makeup. I would watch a ton of makeup tutorials and do different fun makeup looks, and it would just make me feel really confident. It was a creative outlet for me as well, so that's what I did a lot of the time. The fifth thing I would tell young Kiera with depression is putting other people down will not make you feel better. Now I know not everyone with depression does this, but I personally did. Sometimes I wouldn't want other people to be happy because I wasn't happy, and how dare they live their life and smile and do the stuff that they want to do and I can't even get out of bed. I just felt like it was unfair. I would kind of want to bring other people down so that I didn't feel as alone. But what I didn't realize at the time is everyone has their own shit that they're dealing with. They're not always upfront about it and you don't always know what people are going through. Everyone has something, and so what I would tell to my younger self is don't bring people down, especially because they might not be as happy as you think they are, and being unkind isn't going to help you at all. It's just gonna bring more negative emotion into the equation. The sixth thing I would tell younger me with depression is your life is valuable and it's worth living. Younger me thought sometimes that no one actually would really care if I was gone and that I was just kind of taking up space and I was useless and I wasn't doing anything good with my time or energy and I just wasn't an asset to this world. I believe that every human being is a miracle, and if God put you on this earth, it's for a reason. Everyone has their own reason, and you might not know what it is right now, but you have a purpose. You do. You just might not know it right now. There are people that love you and care about you. You're extremely strong and you can get through this, and you are very important to this world. The seventh thing I would tell younger me with depression is going to therapy does not mean you're weak. I used to say, I'm fine, I can handle it on myself, like I can get through this on my own, I don't need anyone else's intervention to help me. I just was convinced that I could do everything on my own and that I would get through it on my own. But sometimes, honestly, you do need help, and you have to be really honest with yourself to understand that and to acknowledge that. And admitting that I needed to go to therapy, admitting that I needed someone else's help kind of felt like failing to me. I felt like I was failing myself. I felt like I wasn't strong enough. I felt like I couldn't take care of myself, and that just made me feel worse about myself. And I know that one bad therapy experience could set you off, but you can find a better one. There are so many therapists out there. You just have to find the right fit for you. And I know that therapy can be really pricey. Like when I was going to therapy and I was paying out of pocket, I had to kind of stop for a while and I couldn't go every week. I think I only could go like once a month. Because of COVID, obviously therapy, like in-person therapy sessions can't necessarily happen, but I have seen a lot of advertisements for online therapy on Zoom, like virtual therapists. And I have seen a few, whether it's free or pay what you can. I know they exist. Hey, it's Kira from the Editing Suite. My friend just brought this up to me. She actually found her therapist by Googling student therapists. And apparently a lot of student therapists who just get out of school, they need a ton of hours in order to accumulate enough to be officially certified. And they have like all of their training and everything, so they're proper therapists, but they do it for free because they need their hours. So look into that. The 8th thing I would tell younger me with depression is finding the root of your depression might help immensely. Most mental illnesses, as a general rule, are triggered from something, whether that's a traumatic experience, childhood trauma, societal pressure, even outside circumstances beyond your control. This takes a lot of inner work. It is hard. Sometimes it's difficult. Like when I had depression, I had no idea why I had it and what triggered it, and I was just really confused why all of a sudden I was just feeling so low all the time. I find that going to therapy definitely helps, and sometimes getting an outside perspective and telling someone your life story is very helpful. Number 9 is celebrate the little victories. If getting out of bed is difficult for you, celebrate it. If doing your homework seems impossible and you get like 5 questions done, that's amazing. That's one step further than what you were doing before. Let's say there's a graph that goes from like one end of the screen to this point of the screen. A lot of people think that healing and progress just goes like this, whoop, and it's just like all up from there. Mine wasn't really so. It was more like, okay, you're getting a little better, and then you kind of just like plateau, and then it gets a little worse, and then it gets a little better. So what I'm trying to say is don't be hard on yourself. Once you accomplish those little tasks, you can tell depression that it's not the boss of you. And finally, the 10th thing I would tell younger me with depression is, honey, take breaks from social media. If you let it consume you, then it can be a really negative thing. And I found that I would just wake up every morning, check Instagram, and look at how everyone's life was better than mine. Social media doesn't always help with feeling good about yourself. But also remember that these people are posting the absolute best moments of their life. They're hiding behind this facade. This isn't actually who they are and their life. You don't know what's behind people's posts. One thing that I need to keep telling myself that I should do is not go on social media an hour before bed and an hour after I wake up. You're going to bed with the thoughts and anxieties of what you're consuming on social media, and then that stays with you throughout the night. And then when you first wake up, if you check Instagram and see that someone's like having a great time and you're not, you're like, well, shit. I'm gonna carry this crappy feeling with me for the rest of the day. I'm totally not following my own advice right now because I literally this morning woke up and checked my Instagram. But it's something that I need to keep reminding myself to do. These are very personal things that I would have wanted to hear when I had depression. I am so, so grateful that I healed and got through that because it is not fun. A lot of the time, like, social media can glorify it and romanticize it, like all mental illnesses, and it's just not. I really hope these tips helped you. If they did, please let me know below in the comments. If you just want me to make more content about depression, anxiety, OCD, I'm here. Just let me know. Thank you again, Audible, for sponsoring this video. You guys are awesome, and I will see you in my next video.